You know that feeling, that specific moment of panic? It's not the Monday alarm. It's usually when you open a piece of mail. Maybe it's a property tax bill that went up, 20% again, or a medical bill you thought was covered. And just for a split second, your brain does this little calculation like, what if I just sold everything? What if I just cashed out and left?
Ah, the plan B calculation.
Yeah.
It's becoming a lot less hypothetical for people.
Exactly. But then, the logical part of your brain kicks in and says, don't be ridiculous. You can't just move to a villa in Italy or a beach in Thailand that's for, I don't know, billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're doing a deep dive into some research that suggests that logical part of your brain, it might actually be the one that's wrong.
It is definitely operating on some outdated software. We were breaking down the annual Global Retirement Index from International Living, and I want to flag something right away. Ignore the word retirement in the title.
Please, because I'm not there yet, and I'm guessing most of you listening aren't planning on playing shuffleboard for the next 40 years.
Precisely. The data, yeah, it's branded for retirees, but the metrics they track, cost of living, internet speed, visa rules, quality of healthcare, these are the exact same things a digital nomad or a young family would be looking for. This is basically a global lifestyle arbitrage index.
Lifestyle arbitrage. I like that. But I have to be the skeptic here for a second. These lists pop up all the time, right? Top 10 places to live for $5 a month. Is this just a bunch of influencers, or is there a real methodology here?
That's a fair question. This isn't just aggregating Instagram posts. It's data-driven, but with this really important qualitative layer. So they look at the hard numbers, rent per square foot, the cost of a doctor's visit, income requirements for a visa, but then they combine that with a network of on-the-ground scouts.
They have people actually living in these places.
Right. Because data can lie. The data might say, oh, internet is available, but the scout on the ground tells you, yeah, but it goes out every single time it rains.
Yeah.
That's the human element they factor in. They're trying to find that sweet spot between affordable and, actually livable.
Okay, so we've got 10 countries. We're going to go through them, but not just as a countdown. I want to figure out the sort of personality of each place.
Yeah.
Because the person who'd love bustling Bangkok is probably not the same person who wants a quiet village in Portugal.
Exactly. It's always about trade-offs. You're always trading something, right? Convenience for cost, or maybe proximity for adventure.
So let's start with the big value proposition. That's usually where Southeast Asia just completely dominates. We're looking at Malaysia at number 10 and Thailand at number 9.
Right.
And the headline for Malaysia, it's the rent. They cite an average of $900 a month for a 4-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
I have to stop you. $900 for 4 bedrooms. In my city, $900 gets you a parking spot. Maybe. So is this place in the middle of a jungle? What's the catch?
There isn't really a catch on quality, but there is one on, let's say, location context.
Yeah.
That $900 is not going to be a penthouse in downtown Kuala Lumpur right next to the Petronas Towers. But it is very likely a high-end condo in a really nice suburb, or maybe a city like Penang. And we're not talking about a shack. We're talking modern builds, gyms, pools, security, all included.
So it's a legitimate first world living standard.
Oh, absolutely. Malaysia is kind of unique. It was a British colony, so the legal system feels familiar, English is spoken everywhere, and the infrastructure is great. But because the local currency is weaker against the dollar, your purchasing power is it's massive.
Okay, so you get the palace for pennies. What's the vibe, though? I feel like people hear Asia and they just think chaos.
That's a surprising thing about Malaysia's ranking. The scouts all emphasize the pace is actually quite slow. It's a very chill culture. People take their time. It's not that frenetic energy you might find in, say, Ho Chi Minh City.
And what about healthcare? If I get sick, am I going to be okay?
You'll be better than okay. They're a huge hub for medical tourism. The report notes minor surgeries, specialist visits, they're all a fraction of U.S. costs, and often with U.S.-trained doctors.
All right, let's jump over to Thailand at number 9. Classic expat spot. But Thailand always felt a bit intimidating to me. If you don't speak the language, the alphabet is different, the tones are hard.
And that is the biggest barrier to entry for Thailand, for sure, the language. But the report highlights how technology has really bridged that gap. They talk a lot about the Grab app.
Oh, I know Grab. It's like the Uber of Southeast Asia. But is an app really enough to base a move on?
Well, it's more than just catching a ride. It's about removing friction. In the past, you'd have to negotiate prices in broken Thai, try to explain directions, maybe get ripped off. Now use one interface for your taxi, for grocery delivery, for shipping a package. It kind of insulates you from the hardest parts of that transition.
So it just lowers the intimidation factor.
Massively. And then you add in the whole wellness culture. It's not just the cheap hospitals, which are up about 1/3 of U.S. prices. It's the lifestyle. A massage is $10. Fresh food is everywhere. You can be healthy there almost by accident.
But the trade-off has to be the climate, right? It's hot.
It's incredibly humid. I mean, if you can't handle humidity, Thailand is not for you. But the geography is diverse. You can go north to the mountains for cooler air or south to the islands.
And the cost.
A little higher than Malaysia for the really premium spots. I'd expect around $1,000 for a nice 2-bedroom house. But, compared to the West, it's nothing.
Okay, so Asia wins for I want my savings to last forever. But let's shift gears. Let's go to the old world, Europe.
The dream destination for so many.
Right, but it's usually the dream that dies when you look at your bank account. People just assume Europe is too expensive. But this report has 4 European countries in the top 10. Is that narrative just wrong?
It's wrong because it's too broad. I mean, if you want to live in central Paris or downtown Zurich, yeah, you will bleed money. But this index looks at the country as a whole. And when you do that, you find some incredible value.
So let's look at number 6, Italy. The report throws out a number that made me do a double take. Rent for $400 to $925 a month. $400 in Italy. Is that a barn somewhere?
Not in a barn, no, but it's also not in Rome or Florence. You have to be realistic. That $400 price point is probably in the south, maybe Calabria, or a rural village in Abruzzo.
So you're trading the Colosseum for a quiet village square.
Exactly. But for a lot of people, that is the upgrade. You get the food, the wine, the history, the community. The report really emphasizes how eager the locals are to integrate you. You don't need a car because the trains actually work. But you have to be willing to live a smaller life.
Okay, but what if I want a bigger life? What about structure, efficiency? That brings us to number 7, France.
France is the real surprise here when it comes to real estate. We have this Emily in Paris idea of France, right? Everything is luxury. But outside of the major hubs, Paris, Lyon, Bordeaux housing is estimated to be about 30% cheaper than in the U.S.
And the bureaucracy. I've heard absolute horror stories about French paperwork.
The paperwork is real. You will drown in it. But the report notes that the process of buying a home is surprisingly fast and secure. It usually wraps up in about 3 months, and the legal protections for buyers are really strong.
So it's annoying, but it's safe.
Precisely. And rents are manageable, $1,000 to $2,000 for a 2-bedroom in a nice town.
Okay, now we have to talk about the 2 heavy hitters in Europe. Spain at number 8 and Portugal at number 4. These are the ones everyone seems to be talking about online.
They're the golden duo right now, for sure.
Let's start with Spain. Why is it on the list?
Healthcare. Full stop. The World Health Organization consistently ranks Spain's system near the top. As an expat, after 1 year of residency, you can get on the public system for something like $200 a month or less.
But getting in, that's the hard part, isn't it? You can't just show up.
No, and this is where we have to get a little technical. Spain has the non-lucrative visa. It sounds great, but the barrier is liquidity. You can't work locally. You have to prove you have about 28,000 euros in the bank, or a passive income of around 2,400 euros a month.
So if you're a freelancer making $1,500 a month, you're out.
For that specific visa, yes. Now, they do have a new digital nomad visa, but the tax rules can get a bit complex. You really have to do your homework.
Okay, so compare that to Portugal at number 4. Why does it rank higher than Spain?
I think it comes down to ease of entry and tax incentives. Portugal has been very aggressive with its D7 visa for passive income and the D8 for digital nomads. The income requirements have historically been lower than Spain's, though they are creeping up.
I have heard Portugal is getting really expensive because of all the expats.
It is. Lisbon and Porto, rents have skyrocketed. The report lists a 1-bedroom at around $1,760 now. That is not cheap compared to Italy's $400.
No, that's U.S. prices in some places.
It is, but you're paying for an English-friendly environment, a very high safety rating. It's one of the safest countries in the world, and a path to citizenship that's actually faster than Spain's.
So the trade-off is, Spain is cheaper with better healthcare, but Portugal is easier to get into and maybe a bit safer.
That's a pretty fair summary, yeah. And Spain is louder, lifestyle-wise. Portugal is a little more reserved.
Okay, let's cross the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, Europe or Asia is just It's too far. They want to be able to fly home for the holidays without a 24-hour layover.
The close-to-home cohort?
And we have Mexico at number 5.
Mexico is the heavyweight champion of convenience. You're in the same time zones. You have Netflix. You have Walmart if you really want it. But the aha moment in the data is all about healthcare access.
But is it safe? I feel like the news about Mexico is always bad.
Well, it really depends on where you are. There are dangerous areas, absolutely. But the main expat hubs, Mérida, San Miguel de Allende, Lake Chapala, are very safe. And for healthcare, the report says you can see a specialist within 24 hours.
24 hours. I tried to book a dermatologist last week and they told me July.
Exactly. No months-long waiting lists. And it's incredibly affordable.
All right, now let's look at number 3 and number 2, Costa Rica and Panama. I always kind of get these two confused. Help me distinguish the vibe.
Think of them as the nature option versus the city option.
Okay.
Costa Rica at number 3 is all nature. Pura vida, jungle, surfing, eco-lodges. It's for people who want to disconnect, but it is getting expensive. It is not the bargain bin it used to be. Rents are around $600 to $800, but imported stuff cars, electronics, that's pricey.
And Panama at number 2.
Panama is the city option. Panama City is a true metropolis. It looks like Miami. You have skyscrapers, banking, luxury malls, and crucially, they use the US dollar.
Oh, that is huge. Just for the mental math alone.
It's huge for stability. You don't have to worry about the currency crashing overnight. It's a fully dollarized economy.
What about this test drive idea? You mentioned these are good for people who aren't quite sure.
Yes, both countries have very generous tourist allowances. In Costa Rica and Panama, U.S. and Canadian citizens can usually stay up to 180 days. That's 6 months without applying for any kind of residency.
That's incredible. So you can literally just pack a bag, go for the winter, and if you hate it, you just come home. No lawyers, no paperwork.
Exactly. It's the lowest friction way to try out the expat life.
Okay. We have done the world tour. We've seen the $400 Italian villages, the Malaysian palaces, the Panamanian skyscrapers. But we have to crown a winner. The number 1 spot on the index.
Greece.
Greece. I mean, nobody hates the idea of Greece. But number 1, with their economy, I thought they were always in some kind of crisis.
That's the old narrative. Things have stabilized a lot. But Greece took the top spot because it basically ticks every single box we've been talking about all at once.
Break it down for me.
Okay. Climate. 300 plus days of sunshine. That's a massive mental health ROI.
Yeah.
Right? Diet. Fresh, local, healthy, cost. A 2-bedroom house averages around $820.
$820 for a house in a major European tourist destination.
Yes. But the clincher, the thing that I think really pushed it past Portugal and Spain this year, is a soft factor. It's the healthcare experience.
Which is?
Language. The report highlights that a huge percentage of Greek doctors speak excellent English.
That sounds like a small thing, but that is actually a massive thing.
It's critical. If you're having a heart palpitation, the last thing you want to do is be typing your symptoms into Google Translate. Just knowing you can communicate directly with your doctor, that brings a level of peace of mind that's hard to put a price on.
But I have to ask, the bureaucracy. I mean, Greece basically invented bureaucracy.
They did. And you will deal with it. You'll wait in lines. Things will happen on Greek time. But the argument the index makes is that the trade-off is worth it. You're trading, let's say, efficiency for humanity. Wow. You're trading speed for connection.
That seems to be the theme of this entire list, really.
It is.
So we have all these options. And what strikes me is that none of them are perfect. You're always giving something up. In Malaysia, you give up some Western culture for incredible value. In Portugal, you give up some of that value for safety and ease of entry.
Exactly. And that's why this isn't really a ranking. It's more like a menu. The real question isn't which country is best. It's what matters most to you right now.
Right.
You know, are you at a stage where you need every dollar to stretch? Go to Asia. Are you at a stage where you have the money, but you're just starving for culture and connection? Go to the Mediterranean. It's
about reclaiming agency over your life.
It's about ROI. But not on a stock portfolio. It's ROI on your life.
I love that.
And that leads me to the question I want to leave everyone with today. We talked about the dream at the start, but let's make it practical.
Okay.
If you move to one of these places, let's say Mexico or Greece, and you cut your cost of living in half, you suddenly have an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Or maybe you only have to work 20 hours a week to maintain your lifestyle.
Okay, I'm visualizing it.
Who would you become with that extra bandwidth? Would you finally write that book? Would you get in the best shape of your life? Or would you just watch Netflix in a different time zone? Because geography changes your location, but it doesn't change your habits. Only you can do that.
Oof, that's the real deep dive right there. Geography doesn't fix you, it just gives you the room to fix yourself.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, I'm going to go look at my bank account and then probably look at photos of Crete. Thank you so much for walking us through this.
My pleasure.
And thank you for listening. Let us know. Where would you go? Catch you next time.